What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Lost Soul Aside, a game that, for those that have been following it, which I can't honestly pretend like I have, but for those that have been, the game has been around for a long time, and the game has gone through, I don't really want to call it necessarily like iterations, but it's grown, it's expanded, and it's become something at least bigger than what it originally started as, right? Well, we finally got, I would say, a pretty darn good sign that the game is coming out pretty darn soon. So let's talk about the news first, and then we'll talk a little bit about the game for those that don't know. And honestly, up until maybe an hour ago, I didn't know much about this game either. So basically, Lost Soul Aside got an ISBN license approval to release in China. And then we have Daniel chiming in that says, this means the game has been reviewed and can officially launch in mainland China. In other words, there will be news for the launch of the game fairly soon, at least within the next 3 months or so, typically. Now, what rumors have we heard over the next couple months? What could there be? A PlayStation event. Now, this game is technically through PlayStation. PlayStation is publishing it, and I guess from the behind-the-scenes stuff that I was able to see, it looks like Sony kind of swooped in and helped the guy out. This game started as one individual, one man with a dream, and my God, it even looked, I would say, really good back then. I was just watching it before I started recording it, and Sony kind of helped him get going, and basically, I think helped him establish just a full-on studio for this game. I think it got money from Tencent, which I'm not a huge fan of that part of it, but PlayStation has taken over, at least in the last couple of years, and PlayStation is the one publishing it. So I imagine at a PlayStation showcase, and this would be pretty cool, because, you know, we're expecting the Ghost of Tsushimas of the world, right? Silent Hill 2, the names that have been around for a while and that we know of. This is a game that I think can kind of, under the radar, come in. It's going to make some people very happy, and I think this game might come out in the summer/fall, and, you know, again, maybe out of left field for a lot of people. So what is this game? Well, again, I got to be honest. I've tried to be honest throughout this entire video. I feel like I've heard of this game, and looking back, like if you just type it in on YouTube, the game's been around a while, and I kind of mean that in both ways. I mean, it has gone through several like eras or years where you haven't gotten anything on it, but it does pop up. Like if you type it in, like I said, you'll see a trailer from 2 years ago. I think there was maybe 17 minutes of gameplay. You can find the original trailer, I think, and I think he either started it in 2014, like somewhere around there. So this game, I think that's when the Kickstarter maybe started, and he started it, and then a few years later, he showed it off for the first time. I think the trailer's 6 or 7 years old. You can see from just any of the footage, and I think like the official word is he was inspired at least in part by Final Fantasy 15, and you can tell, and you can also tell from the combat. It really, to me, it screams Devil May Cry quite a bit. You can look back at 7 years ago, the gameplay. You can look back at now. You know, I think there was a trailer maybe 8 months ago that had some platforming to it, also had some gameplay to it. The game's always looked pretty good. You know, is it going to be a perfect game? Well, it was just one guy. It's his vision, you know, kind of expanded. I don't think it's going to be a perfect game. I think, honestly, it gives off Stellar Blade vibes. And let me please explain. It gives me off vibes that, like, the gameplay is really the focus. Now, I guess with Stellar Blade, you could say Eve and stuff like that, but the gameplay in Stellar Blade, right, is what everybody's kind of talking about as a huge positive. This game, I would say, the flair, right, the fast movement. Early on, there was even a combo kind of counter on the screen. It doesn't look like that's there anymore, but that seems to be the main focus, and I would imagine that is going to be the main focus, and that's going to be the best part of this game. If you hear kind of the dialogue and the writing and stuff, it doesn't seem outrageously good, but I mean, again, it could just actually be what we've seen so far. But I think this is going to be a game, and again, like, I feel like this makes a lot of sense for the type of game that it is. It'll probably be very strong in a few key areas that it wants to be, and then it might not be as powerful in other areas. And you can chalk that up to it's their first game, it started as one guy, it's been around forever. You know what I mean? Like, there's a couple of reasons you could argue why, but again, I think this could just be, for those that aren't aware of it, just this under-the-radar type thing. You might see it at the showcase events or whatever, and half the people might not even either remember it or have seen it in the first place, right? And it might be like an under-the-radar, pretty solid game that can help fill the fall schedule, the summer schedule for PlayStation, which is kind of light, right? As we've talked about, they don't have any first party, and this still wouldn't be a first party, but they're publishing it, they're helping with it. Again, it gives off in that way a lot of Stellar Blade vibes. So I'm in. Honestly, like an hour ago, I remember the name, but I didn't really remember much else, about it. And now it's like, yeah, I'll check it out. I'll give it the attention I think it deserves. So hopefully it's at that event, and kind of glossing over the news itself, right? Like, it's ready. So this long wait for those that have waited since the beginning, and there are many that were waiting since the beginning, even the Kickstarter phase of it, right? You finally are going to get it. And for the rest of us, that are kind of playing catch up, it's just another seemingly cool game that might be coming out very, very soon. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.